Back in the home office, man. Board boxing, welcome back to the show. I would like to talk about Canelo Alvarez and his potential opponents for 2024. Now, after the Benavidez Andrade fight, we've seen a slew of predictions come out. Who's he going to fight? When are they going to fight? What happens if he doesn't? Does this tarnish a legacy, etc., and so forth? Okay, I get it. We all want to see that fight happen. Maybe even have some doubts that it will happen. I believe that the Benavidez fight will happen in September. However, I've got some alternative theories that I'm not super proud of. Let's talk about it, guys. So, Benavidez, obviously, phenomenal performance against Demetrius Andrade. It made Demetrius look like someone who hasn't even been in the ring at long. I mean, he's 35 years old. His gas tank just wore out trying to overwhelm the Mexican monster. Albeit after an impressive first couple rounds, you could tell that Andrade had exhausted everything he had to make that effort even happen. You could tell in the start of the third round, especially towards the end of the third round and fourth round, you could see that Andrade was just dramatically falling off. It wasn't going to happen from the get-go. Benavidez is just, his endurance gets better, his style gets better, his precision gets better. Once he starts going, he doesn't stop. We saw a lot of flashes of this style in Jose Benavidez versus Charlo, where these fast combos start to ramp up. Jose, not as accurate. David, very accurate when doing this. It felt like a mismatch. It really did. And moving forward, we now have to look at Benavidez versus Canelo because this fight has been being talked about for years. And you know, a couple years ago, you can maybe make the case that Benavidez hasn't done enough to warrant that fight. It is more than deserved at this point. Benavidez fought Caleb Plant. He's now fought Demetrius Andrade, undefeated. Demetrius Andrade wasn't a career 168 guy, you know, kind of recently came up to this. He was trying to petition for that Canelo fight. We remember that payday. You want payday? It's too big to ignore at this point. It's far too big to ignore. Canelo has got to accept a fight with David Benavidez. I think it will happen. The Fighting Mexicans rule is now off the table. So I think we're going to have Canelo fight Jaime Munguia in May, Cinco de Mayo. I think that's still going to be a good fight. I don't know why there's a bunch of hate for that. Some people say that Jaime struggled with Derevyanchenko. I could see where you would say that because it took him a while to get into that rhythm and get him going. But Derevyanchenko is just a tough guy. And Jaime Munguia was throwing a ton of shots and taking a lot in return. I've talked about this before where I do believe that Jaime Munguia's output could be the difference maker in a fight with Canelo. I think that's still going to be a good fight. I think Canelo will probably win, but I still think it'll be a good fight. It'll be entertaining and it'll sell well. I'm looking forward to that if it does happen. My optimistic side wants to see Canelo versus David Benavidez in September. Mexican Independence Day. I think that's what everyone wants to see. It would be Canelo's final fight. He can ride off into retirement knowing that he had done everything he said he would do. My pessimistic side and my cautious side says that he's going to fight the bigger Charlo. Before the Jermell fight and even after the Jermell fight, there was these comments that the Canelo camp and Canelo himself would say where he could beat both of them. My feeling is that Canelo is going to take an easy route out to retirement because I still think the big Charlo versus Canelo fight would sell maybe not as well as Benavidez, but still do a lot of numbers for PBC and Showtime. Those cards are still on Showtime. Showtime's still going to get their money from it. The part of me that thinks Canelo won't fight Benavidez is the part of me that thinks Canelo will fight Jermall Charlo, and I don't think that's deserved at all. For someone to be gone for 30 months, not defend their title at middleweight, probably going to vacate that title so he can stay at 168. I think Jermall is going to fight Plant. Once he beats Plant, that would mean all the gatekeepers that Canelo has fought have been warded off, and I think Canelo is going to take the fight with Jermall Charlo. I hope to God that I am wrong about this, but I see it happening. He needs a big name to get off pay-per-view, especially. He needs a big name. Jermall, unfortunately, still has a big following, and after beating Jermell, it would be I don't even want to call it a magnum opus. It would be the closing, curtain call to his career to end both of the Charlos after they've called him out for so many years, because they have been calling him out for so many years. Just like David Benavidez, the Charlo twins have been calling Canelo out for a long time. Man, there's a sneaky suspicion that Jermall Charlo is going to get the biggest payday of his life and get to fight Canelo before retirement. So, but hey, that's just what I think. That's all I got. Let me know.